everybody. My name is Keyonna. Welcome to Grace Between Sundays. I'm here with my girl,
SJ.
We are so excited to talk to you guys today. Really, we're having a conversation with each other that we're letting you guys be privy to. Today's episode is called Hold the Vows. And this is pretty near and dear to our hearts because of our testimony and really what our stories are. So we're going to kind of give you the inside scoop onto who Keyonna is and who SJ is. Today's episode is really centered around this one question. Is there a such thing as too young to be married? Now, in the comments, you let me know, yes or no. Do you think there's a such thing as too young to be married?
Yeah.
So, what do you think about this, SJ?
I think there is such thing as too young to be married. I know it's really tough because, in the Christian community, they feel like as soon as, I'm thinking about having sex or thinking about doing anything, I have to get married. And it doesn't matter how old you are. Baby, you can be 19 and you're like, I need to get married now.
Facts.
And I mean, that's valid. Like the Bible does say it's better to wed than to burn with passion.
Facts.
But, it's more than just about sex. Like marriage
100%.
it's a lot. So that's what we're going to dive into,
It's more than that. So, pause. We want to just say congratulations to all the newlyweds.
Yes,
we know
congrats.
It's wedding season right now. There's a few we know personally that are engaged to be married, and we're so excited for you guys. So, first of all, this is no shade to anybody. This is really about our stories and what we have experienced and what we've learned from our earlier 20s. So, let's get into it.
Let's dive in.
All right. So, I'm going to say, SJ said yes. Flat out yes, period. I'm going to say yes and no. And I'm going to say that because I don't think that necessarily age is a sign of maturity.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I could have gotten married in my 40s and still
gone through the same thing.
Yeah, I still could have gotten divorced. Or I could have, done what I did and still wound up here. So I'm going to say yes and no. Age is not necessarily a sign for what's to come.
Yeah.
But I think that, like what happened to me or what I've experienced is getting married in my earlier 20s. I think if I had waited some time, I would have matured more, not just emotionally or spiritually, but really in my identity and who I was. So there's some things that I kind of found out along the way that if I had known no sooner, and not necessarily because it was my early 20s, but just if I had known that sooner, I probably wouldn't have made the decisions that I made.
That's a huge thing, though, because I feel like, realizing who you are within yourself and not within your spouse. Like, although you become one biblically, you still are your own person, you know? I don't want to be, oh, that's so-and-so's wife. Oh, that's so-and-so's husband. Like, I want to be myself. And isn't she married to so-and-so? Not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that's another big thing because I know a lot of people, just because of who their spouse is, like, oh, but I also know them as themselves, but I just can't help but to be like, oh,
But, like, that becomes your whole personality.
Yeah.
I think that kind of happened to me.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like at a certain point, I kind of just became a shell of who I was and became a representative of this person.
Yeah. And that even happened to me as a girlfriend. Like, oh, that's, so-and-so's girl. Like, I have a name and I do my own thing around here. Like, I don't,
I'm my own person.
Yeah, like.
Okay, so I'm okay, first of all, let's go back real quick.
Rewind,
the yes part is, I want to say for sure, anything under 18, you shouldn't even be considering getting married. Like, really, pump your brakes, babe.
Yeah.
Be for real.
Be for real. No, literally.
I really think that, it's up to the people. Let's kind of get into a little bit about us, and then we can kind of go a little bit deeper into why we feel how we feel.
Why we feel so strongly about it.
Yeah. Who is SJ?
So I am a 26-year-old mom. Outside of ministry, I'm a full-time worship leader at the Light Church in Youngstown, Ohio. We also have an Akron location, but you'll primarily find me in Youngstown. I'm an ophthalmic technician, so I work with eyeballs, all things eyeballs related. But honestly, my passion is just singing. Like, if I could do that full time, I definitely would. What about you?
I love that. I love that for you. Okay. Keyonna, I am 29 years old. I'm a mom of 2. I'm a singer. I'm a carpenter by trade. That's new, by the way. So we'll probably
You're
get into
everything
that a
by
little
trade.
bit. No, literally, like, I do all the things, honestly. I'm Little Miss DIY. But yeah, so we'll kind of elaborate a little bit more on how I became a mom of two.
And how I became a mom of two.
Yes, like how we became single mothers of two.
Yeah.
But let's kind of get into it. So when did you get married?
I got married. It was 2016. I was about to be 18. I was 17. So this is why I feel so strongly about there is absolutely such thing as too young to be married. Not because I'm judging, but because I was there. It was me. Yes. I was that person. Now, being in a Christian household, my parents, of course, they weren't like, oh yeah, get you married, but they were like, we trust that we've raised you well enough that you are, able to make those decisions. You know what I mean? If you're grown enough to do whatever and want to move and want to graduate early and do this, do that, then you're grown enough to be married if that's what you want to do. We would rather that than for you to just be out here, So they respected that. And that was a thing. And it was okay. Like it wasn't, my ex-husband, he's not a terrible person at all. But, seasons change. People grow apart. Once you get that wisdom, once that frontal lobe develops, it's kind of like, like, did I really know what I was doing? Or was I just doing what I thought was right because the Bible said to do so? So although it didn't work out, we're still cordial. We still, we're still cool. But that's just not where I believe God had called me to be in that season. I feel like that was a me thing and not a God thing, you know.
I understand that.
I realized everything has to be a God thing way too late,
Listen.
Way too late.
She clocked that.
Yeah, clock that.
Clock that, y'all.
Clock that.
Okay, that's good. That's good
yes.
that you made that revelation. So I guess my story is a little bit different. I got married fresh after my college graduation. So I think I just turned 22. Got engaged earlier that year. So let's say February of that year. This is 2018, by the way. Then got married. Okay, so it was a whole thing. We were supposed to get married in January of the following year, but technically we eloped in July of 2018 because we were going to move in together. I don't think that between July and January I would have changed my mind.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But even that in and of itself was a thing for me.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, we got married. I was 22. Still figuring out who I was. I was still... I kind of felt like I had a vision of who I was and what I wanted to do. I was so focused on becoming a midwife, and that's really where all my focus was. That and being in love.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
I just graduated with my bachelor's. I was going to go back into a post-bac program for nursing and do all the things. We had been dating for 2 years prior to that, so it just seemed like the natural flow.
Yeah,
it seemed like the natural flow of things. I was head over heels, child.
Yes, that's how it be. My man.
Listen, literally, I was head over heels, and nobody could tell me anything. People tried to tell me, slow your roll, pump your brakes, figure it out. And honestly, okay, so this is where it's crazy, because in the beginning, I was kind of the one that was moving slowly. And then people were like, no, this is the second time around. Everything's going to be cool. And then other people were like, girl, no, don't do it. Just wait, just wait.
Yeah.
So anyway, we did it, and everything seemed, I thought the things that we were dealing with were just normal marital issues.
Yeah.
And I think if I had more relationship experience, I would have known that certain things just didn't align with my personality or my needs. And same for him. Like, some things about me just didn't align with what he needed out of a wife. And so it just ultimately, after about 4.5 years, we had kids after the first 2 years. So that's when our daughter was born, our oldest. And after then, I feel like, because I was about 25 at that point, that's when I started to realize, Is this really what I want my children to see?
Yeah.
Is this what I want for myself?
Yeah. Is this what God wants for me?
Is this what God wants for me? Did God even tell me to do that?
Yeah. Or did I just do that? Like, who was I? I was listening to them voices in my head again. Yeah.
Because I was telling myself, yes, this is right. This is good. You know, we're doing things God's way.
Yeah.
And that's not always the case. Like, what it looks like isn't always what it is on the back end.
That's another thing. It's hard listening to God when it's like, you know what you want to hear.
Yes.
Am I hearing myself, or am I hearing God? Or am I hearing the enemy trying to deceive me? Because ultimately, once he has my mind, like, nothing else matters.
Nothing.
You know? So that's where that spirit of discernment really got to kick in. Like,
really, for
and
real.
I didn't have that at all.
Honey.
I wasn't spiritually mature. I wasn't, you know, I didn't know nothing about nothing. I was just like, you know, I read my Bible before. This is what the Bible says, so this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Without realizing, oh, that may not be what God wants for me. Like, there's still time to turn back.
There's still time.
There's still time. There's still time.
I think I didn't really have that thought for sure. Like, what am I doing? Is this, like, I think I waited for that engagement for those 2 years. It was like, we're saying we're going to get married. So it's like, okay, you know.
Are we?
What's tea for real?
Yeah,
like, hello? Are we doing this or not? And then once the engagement finally came, it just felt like, well, now I got to go through with it, you know? And I don't think up until the actual ceremony, which was, it was a destination wedding. So at that point, child, we done flew to where we done flew to. Our families are here. They done spent money to be here. I don't think it was up until really then that I was like, I could have stopped this before at this point. And it was like, girl, you kind of just got to see it through. And at that point, it was just way too, to me, it was too late in the game. Honestly, it's never too late. If you're way, like, prior to, it's never too late. It's literally never too late. So, I don't know. I just kind of evaluated, and I was in my word prior. I have been getting wise counsel. You know, we spoke to our pastors, mentors.
We spoke to our pastor one time, and that's a whole nother story that's another episode.
Listen,
because, baby, one time is not enough.
Not enough.
You cannot, let me tell y'all something. You cannot, is this camera on me? You cannot have one counseling session and be like, oh, I'm going to marry this person. After one session, no, baby, you need more than that. You need prayer. You need wise counsel. You need mentors who are going to not only hold you accountable, but guide you through the things that they were not able to stop, you know, like, how am I going to recover after this? If you don't have that, don't get married. You don't need to be married.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm saying we had wise counsel, and we did. We had conversations, but as far as, like, premarital counseling, we also only had one session.
Yes,
baby,
one session.
If that's all you did, I don't know. I can only say we got two testimonies right here.
Yeah.
Clearly see the process through, okay? Because some things are going to come up in premarital counseling that are kind of going to reveal to you if the timing is right. Because sometimes it's just the timing.
Yes.
Sometimes it's
right person, wrong time. Like, you need time to.
Sometimes it's just wrong person.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just wrong person. And that you have to be okay with that. Like, I don't think that I was okay with that. I had to bump my head.
Yeah.
Nobody could have told me anything. It didn't matter how many people said what they said. I couldn't hear it. I did not want to hear it.
I didn't want to, because I felt like I had a point to prove. I'm like, everybody's thinking, oh, you know, you can't be young and there's no way this is going to work. I mean, y'all might have been right. But nevertheless, at that point, I didn't want to hear it. You know, like, you can't tell me nothing. I'm the type of person, once my mind is made up about something, it's done. It don't matter. If I say I'm finna go jump off this bridge and you tell me no, baby, I done already made up in my mind.
We're
jumping. I'm jumping twice now. Like, I'm jumping twice. Like, my mind is made up. I'm like, I done defended this man. I done argued with people over this man. You know, me and his mom didn't have the best relationship. Now, you know, we eventually got cool. You know, like, we bumped our heads a lot. And that was the first red flag for me. I'm like, you know, I've always prayed that I would marry into a family who loved me as their own, who cared for me, who I could talk to like I'm talking to my mom. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know, then and there I should have realized this isn't what God has for me. But I was like, you know, I'm not with her. I'm with him. You know, it didn't matter to me. Yeah. But yeah, it just, you know.
And it's tough, y'all. It's just tough. You have to, there's so much to evaluate.
Yeah.
Because this is such a big decision.
It is.
It's
life or death, quite
it's
literally.
literally life altering. Like who you marry, who you have children with, it will change the trajectory of your life for real.
Yeah.
And this is literally no shade at all.
No, not at all.
When I tell you, still love Buddy down. Like we're cool. We're cordial. I mean, like there's no animosity anymore.
Yeah.
I think even at the point that we separated and when I was first initiated in a divorce, I could see a little bit of the role that I played in it, but I still saw his role way more than I saw mine.
No, for sure. Like, same. Like, we're very cordial. Like, it was even to the point, you know, I was about to get married again, and he was, you know, like, just making sure things weren't repeated from our marriage. Like, you know, have y'all been to he was asking me, like, you know, make sure y'all are in counseling, make sure y'all are, you know, doing all of these things so it's not a repeat. And, you know, so we're also pretty cool. Like, that's my brother in Christ. It's my homeboy.
Brother in Christ. Insider. No, for real though. Like, I really want everybody to take this serious. Like, we laugh and we joke, but it is a really serious
Marriage is very
thing.
Serious. It is.
So let's continue this conversation.
Yeah, let's talk about some pros and cons.
Yes, pros and cons. So can you think of one or two pros that you...
So pros of getting married before 25, I would say you can grow together. You know, like you don't have to already have everything together. And that eliminates the, oh, well, this is mine, or I had this before you, or this is mine, and oh, we don't have to share this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're growing together. It is literally ours. And that in itself can avoid a ton of arguments, because when I say me and my ex-husband, most of our arguments stemmed from a financial standpoint and a point of, oh, well, this was mine before we were together. Oh, well, this is mine. You know what I mean? And that I think will really resolve a lot of things.
It will.
So another pro, I think, of getting married young is you can share a lot of firsts together. You know, like milestones and getting your first house together, getting a car together, you know, all these things that you can just do and experience together. So there's not that, oh, well, I did this before you, like, you know, you're not my first, or, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's and although in a lot of cases, especially in our age and this generation, you probably won't be somebody's first. We gotta keep it a buck. 9 times out of 10, people have already been married and divorced, already have kids, and
we're not the only ones, y'all.
And we're not the only ones. And that's not me saying that there isn't somebody out there who didn't wait. You know, there's plenty of people out there that probably have not had anything, but there are a lot that have. You know what I mean? So you have to figure out, well, what's something that I've never done? What's something that you've never done? Like, what is something that we can do together? You know, like, what can be our first? It's just because it's not the normal first, you know, like, you can still create your own first. You know what I mean?
Very much so.
Yeah.
I would say that that was one for me where I was so glad because there was a lot of firsts that I hadn't experienced. So it's like, this is my first boyfriend. This is my
first house together. Bought my
first child. Like literally everything. That was all of my first. So that was one thing that I did take pride in about that relationship, that I felt like did kind of bring us closer. At least on my end, where it was like, this is something that we can share together. Child, but that's also something that makes you look crazy.
It is. Oh, it is.
It makes you crazy.
Because to think you're going to experience this with me and with somebody else, too. Oh,
that
baby,
was half the reason I didn't want to let go. Because, at this point, and we know that happens so often. Like, that is a common conversation of, like, oh, you get with this person. And even you mentioned it earlier. It's like, I had a point to prove. I really felt like I had a point to prove. Because we had a lot of turbulence leading up to, just in the dating period. Child was messy, and I'm not even gonna go too far into that because I'm not trying to expose
it is a real thing to not necessarily be in competition, but to feel like you've listen.
I was competing with somebody.
Listen, even in a previous relationship, it's kind of like I feel like I invested so much into this person, so many resources, so many. Okay, let's go to counseling. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's try this. Let's try that. So it's like I'm not gonna sit up here and lie. Like if he get with somebody else and do all the things that I tried, I'm gonna be.
You mean to tell me somebody's reaping these benefits?
I may be upset. Like reaping the benefits of my hard work is crazy.
It's sick.
But you know, we're covered in grace.
Period.
So it'll be okay. It'll be okay.
We'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Yes, for sure. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
essentially.
No, definitely, it plays a part. It plays a part. But you shouldn't even be coming into a marriage with that mindset.
You shouldn't.
Like, you shouldn't feel the need to compete with anybody externally. Like, it's not you shouldn't even be competing with your partner.
Not
except
at all.
for who's gonna outlove the other person.
Literally,
like, we should both be in
thing.
competition with each other on that. Like, I'm gonna outlove you. You try to outlove me. Like, but other than that, you shouldn't. No triangulation over here. Okay, that's one thing we learned in marital counseling and individual. But yeah, no, I shouldn't be competing with somebody. You should never put me in a position where I feel like I need to compete with somebody, and I shouldn't be doing that to you either. That was another thing.
That was a good one. Period.
I've got two pros that I would share too. So one is the flexibility and adaptability. I feel like getting married young, I didn't have a lot of, like I said, relationship experience. So to me, I was malleable.
Yeah.
It ended up not being for the best, for my benefit, I would say. But for the benefit of a relationship, I think that is something that's good.
Yeah, it
is. Like, when you're young, you're more flexible. You're less set in your ways. It's more like, okay, I can adjust. For the sake of the success of this marriage or this relationship.
Exactly.
And then another one is the advantage of time. So because we were married young, I know I didn't have to rush for, like, having kids or, you know, our careers taking off. I mean, we just had that fire under us where we were like, this is what we want, not just in terms of kids, but in terms of career and aspirations and stuff. We really were trying to see our careers flourish. So we're, like, going full force into how we can get to the next level. But when you get married young, it's like you got your whole life ahead of you.
You got your whole life.
You don't have to rush to have
like,
no
you
babies.
can just vibe with you can just vibe with each other.
I try to
Getting
tell people,
married young is not, it's not necessarily a bad thing in the aspect of just getting to know your partner. Let me tell y'all another thing. If you think you know a person when you marry them, you don't. You don't know a person until you know a person.
They're going to change 75 times.
They're gonna, and not only will you not know them, but you have to learn every version of them. You know, like, after you have your first baby, after you get that career that you've been wanting, after you get the things, after you get the money, they're going to change.
Or after you try to get it and you don't.
And you don't get it when you fail, when you're broke.
That changes a person.
It changes a person, and it changes men especially. You know, us women, we gon', baby, I don't care how much money I got in my account. It could be negative dollars. Somehow I'm going to find a way to buy an iced coffee or go out to eat. I don't know how, but the Lord will always make a way. But men, they get so angry when they don't have no money. They get like, I don't know what it is. And I prefer that, because if you happy and broke as a grown man, something is wrong. Now, there's a difference between being satisfied and knowing that God has you, even though you don't have the money right now. It's like, okay, like, I'm not happy about it, but, like, I know God is going to come through. And just being content and just doing nothing about it. Like, oh, God will provide without me having to work, or God will provide without me having to do it. Yeah, like, you did nothing towards it. That's a whole different story. But nevertheless, you still have to learn all versions of your partner. Seasons will change, people will change, but you have to love your partner endlessly throughout it all.
It's a level of commitment that you have to have.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying. That's one thing I experienced is, even me personally, like, there's aspects of me as a woman, as an individual, that changed so many times throughout the course of that relationship. I mean, we were married 5 years. And then 2 years prior to marriage that we were together. So 7 years in a relationship in total. You know how many times I evolved? Like, how many times I changed my mind about something? How many, we used to do the 5 love languages quiz. How many times we did that and my results were different?
Every time.
At least 3 times. Like, so you evolve as a person, even as an individual, not just your partner, and they have to be receptive to that. And if they're not, that tends to be hard.
That's a problem. Eventually.
So be adaptable. But that is a pro of
being married young, as long as you're willing to be adaptable, you know. Like, if you're not willing, then getting married young probably isn't the thing for you. There are some people who are in their 40s and they get married and they already set in their ways. They got their own career, they got this, and then they come together and it works out perfectly for them. That's not a bad thing either.
No, it's not.
But, you know, getting married young, if you can adapt, then you'll be fine. You know, I feel like.
I agree.
Yeah.
So there's one more pro to getting married young, and I feel like that is the financial aspect. You get to grow together. So, you know, a common topic right now is gold diggers.
Yeah.
And, oh, she only wants me for my money.
What money?
And hello,
what money?
What resources? What do you have?
What do you want?
So if you're getting married, and when we say young, we're talking under 25. So you're getting married under 25. You're probably not making bank. I mean, there are some people that are.
Yeah.
And congratulations to y'all, but I mean, it's not everybody.
It's
like
not.
Everybody's not coming out the gate, coming out of college, coming out of high school.
Yeah, because it's hard getting a job, even with the degree.
Yeah,
it's hard trying to find something in your specialty that, you know. So yeah, that's real.
So that's one benefit is, you know, you don't have to worry about somebody wanting you for
your money because you have none.
You literally haven't gotten it
yet.
You know, now once you get 30 and up, and sometimes 35 and up, then, you know, you kind of establish yourself a bit more.
Need a prenup.
Yeah.
But might need a little sign here on the dotted line. You might need that. But, you know, if it's a kingdom marriage and you're not in it for that reason, I feel like it's not necessary. Yeah.
Agreed. Okay, so what are some cons that you could see to getting married young? We already said a few.
Yeah, we've already said a few, but just to kind of reiterate, to kind of backtrack with the, you know, changing with the seasons, what if you don't? Like, what if, you know, the new versions of yourself don't align with who you thought you were marrying? Yeah. That's a major con, and that's kind of what happened to me and my ex-husband. Yeah. Like, seasons changed. He was in the military. I feel like the military changed him a lot. Yeah. You know, like, he wasn't the same person he was when I married him, or was he? And I just didn't know him like that, you know? You know, when you see everybody in every season of their life, then you get a different perspective on them. Totally. And some people at that point, they just want to leave. They're like, this isn't the version of you that I wanted.
Yeah.
And that often happens when you get married young.
No, I totally agree. So that was one of the things for me is like, and I kind of touched on this a little bit, is how many times I changed. So one of the major things was so I would say closer to the end of our marriage, or right before I ended up leaving, I finally got the ADHD diagnosis that I had been suspecting for some time, but was kind of just too nervous, embarrassed, ashamed to like pursue. Yeah. So even in like wanting to pursue that, I was getting pushback, like, you don't have that, or whatever, who cares, you know, don't be looking for a reason. And it wasn't just him, it was other people too. But anyway, I ended up pursuing the diagnosis, got the diagnosis, and that kind of just opened my eyes to like why certain things were so hard for me. Yeah, why I was the way I was. And now, mind you, at this point, I'm like 27 years old. Like, how many? I've experienced years. I've done elementary, I've done middle school, I've done high school. At this point, I've done 4 years of college. Like, I've already gotten a degree in everything. I've gone through so much of my life not knowing this about myself, thinking that there was something wrong with me, thinking, oh, if I just tried harder, I would be better. I could be like everybody else, you know, and really just not understanding or accepting myself for who I really was. So when I finally did get that diagnosis, it made everything make sense to me. But I think one of the hard things was I married you before you knew all of this. I'm still thinking of you as a person that doesn't have this. And also, what is that anyway? Like, what is ADHD?
And that's where the adapting comes in. You know? Can't adapt with this season in my life. I just told you I have this, and you're not adapting.
You have to have a curiosity about your partner. And be receptive to them growing and changing and just realizing things about themselves, going into counseling and realizing some of the things that I was still holding on to from childhood that I didn't realize, and even just, I don't know, I just feel like I came to know myself more deeply, and I was at a point where I was ready to accept myself for who I was, and I don't feel like that was necessarily reciprocated in the relationship.
Like, are you ready to accept me for who I am now? Or do you still want me to be this version in your head? You know what I mean?
You want me, I can't be who you actually think I am. And part of that, and this is one of the things I realized in hindsight and since the separation and then divorce, because now it's been 3 years. But I realized I showed up to that relationship and in that marriage as a representative of Keyonna.
Yeah.
I didn't show up as Keyonna.
Yeah.
You know, still not knowing that I had ADHD. I'm like, if I just keep trying, if
Yeah.
I just do this, then I'll be that girl for real. And it's like, girl,
you shouldn't have to do that.
You're not.
In a marriage.
You're just not her.
Yeah.
You're going to have to accept yourself. And so finally I got to that point where I did. And it was like, we got to grow together or we're going to continue to grow apart.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That self-development is key. Your brain is still developing prior to 25. I don't know what clicked. Something just made sense.
It was like I heard like a as soon as I turned 25. And I feel like it clicked harder when I turned 26. Like, what did I miss out on 25 that I, should have learned but didn't, that I now know at 26?
Yeah.
Yeah, when that frontal lobe, it's like you're a whole different person. Like, I thought it was just something that TikTok was saying. No, it was real.
It's so real.
It's literally scientifical. Like, is that even a word, scientifical?
Scientific.
We
on the same page.
We're gonna,
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's a word, though. Like, it's a thing. Like,
I just made it a word.
Period.
It's a word now.
But at 25, I don't know what it was, but literally it just... things made sense that didn't make sense before. I understood myself in a way that I just didn't before. And also around that same time, I had just had our first kid.
Yeah.
So
and that's another thing.
That was a whole nother
like
layer.
You're not even yourself. All these hormones just left your body, and now you're like, crazy. I think I want to die.
Literally. I had baby blues and everything.
Yeah,
but becoming a parent and then becoming a parent to a girl, it made me think, like, what example am I setting for? What example will I be setting? Like, she's a baby right now, but at the point that she's of age and she can understand things, how am I as a woman being an example for her?
Yeah.
How is my relationship being an example for her?
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, or not 2 years, but a year and a half later, to have her brother having a son, that also changed the way I was perceiving things. It's like, what is this relationship showing him?
Yeah, what's okay to do? Like, is he gonna think this is okay because he sees dad doing it? Or,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Or mom is, present herself in this way. Like, do I want a type of woman that's like that? Or like, it was just a lot of things. So, that brain development is crucial. Yeah, I really think waiting after 25 is
it's smart.
It's wise. Yeah. It's very wise.
It is.
But we'll keep going on.
We'll
so
keep
you've
going.
got that financial instability, which could be a con of getting married young. Financial troubles and hardship is a very big factor of like why people get divorced. It could lead to a lot of contention in marriages.
It could.
In early 20s, and in America.
Yeah.
Hello, that alone, the economy and everything. Like,
especially now. Don't even get me started, child.
Honey. That can also just be a major factor to why marriages are just harder at under 25.
Yeah. I feel like another con, and this is my last con, the social and emotional pressure of having to now rush. And especially in the Christian community, I feel like, because I hear a lot of, and this is no shade towards anybody, but I feel like once you get married, people are like, okay, well, now you can have sex. When are you going to have kids? When are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? And now I understand jokingly because, my friend, she just got married and she's under 25. And I'm always joking, like, when am I going to get a nephew? You know what I mean? But some people are dead serious. They're like, you need to get on it now.
Start trying.
Start trying right now, immediately.
Today.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. I feel like now you feel rushed.
Yeah.
Like now you don't have the time to explore yourselves as newlyweds and still explore and learn yourselves individually, because at 25 or under 25, you still don't know who you are.
You really don't.
You still don't know who you are.
But
yeah, but you don't know who you are.
It's gonna change.
No matter what you think, you don't know who you are. Are you willing to learn who you are with your partner? Is your partner willing to learn who you are and grow with you? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I guess that's a hot take. Some people may disagree, but I
feel what you're saying. Yeah. I feel like that was something for me is the social emotional aspect and people wanted to pressure you into, moving things along a lot faster. So I appreciate one thing I appreciate, I'll say, is that we didn't succumb to that pressure.
Yeah.
You know, we were like, what are we going to rush and have kids for? And I'm not going to lie. I was the one that was like, all right, it's time. Hello.
Yeah.
And crazy. Don't do that. Don't be like me. Don't. Learn from my mistakes, okay?
That's what we're teaching y'all. We're trying to teach the saints.
You got to lock in. Like, I tell my friends all the time, and you know, y'all know who y'all are. I'm not telling y'all to do, because ultimately you can't tell anybody how to live their life. They're gonna do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But one thing I appreciate about my marriage is that we waited those 2 years. And honestly, in hindsight, I wish we waited a few more. That would have worked in our favor a bit. But and I really like, got some time to just be me and learn myself a little bit and learn him a little bit. We got to get a better dynamic of what it was like.
Yeah.
You know, things, luckily, because we had that time, I found out a lot of things, like, just before the kids, and I was already on that track to, like, growing and maturing as a woman and figuring out who I was.
Yeah.
I think that having the kids honestly propelled and, like, pushed that along a lot further.
Yeah.
But the ball was already
I got somebody
rolling.
watching me. Yeah. But it's like, even no matter how long you wait, I feel like you'll never be ready.
You won't.
You will never be ready. Even before marriage, you will never be ready for marriage, no matter how old you are. It's something that you have to just do and figure out.
100%.
You can have all the money in the world. You can have all the wisdom in the world. You can have all the counsel. You will never be ready.
Yeah.
Like, you got to just do it.
You do.
And pray it works out. Figure it out along the way. You will never be ready to have kids. Yeah. When it happens, it happens.
You're going to learn
Figure it out. Yeah.
Along the way.
You'll learn something along the way regardless.
And I was one of those that was, like, hyper fixated on, like, knowing all the things.
Like, I gotta be ready.
Very easily. But so that, preparing for motherhood, I was so serious about that. Even preparing for marriage,
yes.
I was so serious. Girl, I was on love languages. I was all on, I don't know if y'all hip to Kev on Stage and Melissa Fredericks, but I was all over their podcast, The Love Hour. They used to have people on. Like, I was so serious about it. I was reading the books. I was doing all the things, child, and still ended up here.
Listen,
but
it'd be like that.
It'd be like that.
But if you wait until you're ready, you'll never do it.
You won't.
You'll never do it.
You'll
if
constantly
you wait until
think
you're ready.
of a reason.
Yeah, you'll constantly think of a reason to back out. Oh, well, this isn't what God told me to do. Oh, well, this isn't that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, is this really what I'm supposed to do? Like, if you do all these things, you'll never be ready.
Yeah. I will say one thing that I want to say before we kind of wrap it up is, one of the big things for me was knowing boundaries, deal breakers, like, what do I need out of a partner? And some of those things you kind of learn along the way, but if you kind of give yourself a little bit of experience beforehand, then you kind of figure that out. Those are things that can be worked out prior to marriage a little bit. Like, boundaries, I feel like you could kind of figure that out before. What is a hard no for me? What am I not going to tolerate? What am I, like, okay, this is something we can kind of work through. Yeah, that's what I mean,
like, by some wiggle room. Like, there are some things that it's like, okay, I would never tolerate this, but from you, I'm willing to.
Yeah.
You know, nothing crazy now. I'm not saying, let the man beat you up and do all these things. No, that's nothing to wiggle about.
Yeah.
But there are some things where it's like, I may not have ever done this, or I may not have ever dated someone with kids, or but for you, I will.
Yeah, those are things that I feel like we can reconsider.
Yeah.
But, like, hard stops, you need to know your firm no's. You need to know your firm yeses, like,
your firm foundation.
Yeah, hello. You need a firm foundation in who you are and what you need first. But, like, one of the things that I didn't really know beforehand and leading up to, like, of course, everybody says no beating.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not about to let nobody put their hands on me. But what are some of those nuanced things where we don't really know if this is, like, abusive, or if this is controlling, or if this is, this is a little bit of a gray area.
Yeah.
Well, some of it is not. Like, you need to look into that before you get married.
Because abuse is more than physical.
It's way more than physical.
You can abuse me financially, withhold money from me that's supposed to be ours, not allow me to go to church, not allow me to work, all these things because you're the man of the house. I got to do what you say.
Yep.
Like, there's more ways of abuse than just beating me up.
It really is. That's something that you need to take into account, because I feel like there were some things in my relationship, and child, if you see this, I love you, man. Okay, I'm not throwing shots. I
you
swear.
Finna get a phone call now.
I'm so sorry.
Go ahead and block him now.
I just gotta be honest. There are some things though that I experienced that if I had just known beforehand, were like, these are things that are not acceptable. It
wouldn't even been a thing, because I would have never
I would have walked away.
Yeah.
Like, we wouldn't even be at this point.
Yeah, we would have never made it to the altar. But
we would not have made it to the altar, because these are things, and you know, like, it's common for people to say, oh, well, she ignored the red flags. Babe, I didn't know some of the red flags.
Yeah, the red
those
flags
were just
green.
Those were relationship woes that we kind of could work through. Some of those things are not things you should be trying to work through. Some of those things are things you should be walking away for. So anybody that's still, you know, engaged or aspires to be married, I highly
your boundaries.
Find your boundaries. Find out what you need. What is abuse? What are the different types of abuse? Physical, and that doesn't just mean him punching you or her punching you, pushing you. It's sexual
abuse. Like I said, no.
And you're still
just
trying
because
to
you're my
coerce
husband.
me.
And then they're gonna try to pull out the Bible verse that, you know, you should.
Don't withhold unless
don't
you
withhold.
fasted, or let it be for a time.
Yeah, like, baby.
Be for real.
Don't even go there with me.
Like, like that was a thing for me. So ultimately, we love the sanctity of marriage.
Yeah.
We think that marriage
I want to be married.
I do.
Yeah.
I would totally remarry. I'm not against that. You know,
there was a point where I was like, I will never again. I told my friends today, I was like, you know, I think I'm okay with being single forever. And I'm now realizing I lied. There is something very beautiful about marriage when you and another person connected to God can be connected to each other and come to the agreement, like, I only want you, you only want me, let's do this life thing together. Yeah. Two heads are definitely better than one. Like, you can get so much accomplished, not even for yourself or for worldly things, but for the kingdom. And that's ultimately the end goal. That's what marriage is. Marriage is literally biblical. Like, God made marriage for a reason. Yeah. I want to fulfill that purpose. Period. You know, now Paul might disagree. There are some people meant to be single. I don't believe that I'm one of those people. I don't think I'm meant to be a man's rib wholeheartedly.
I just feel like I could do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But we are totally all for love.
Yeah.
Again,
I love love.
Congratulations to all the upcoming
Again, invite us to your weddings, because we like cake.
Babe, we want to come to the reception too. Hello. You know who you are.
Yes.
You know who you are. We're excited, though. We're so excited to celebrate with you guys and all of the newlyweds.
We are.
You know, we just wanted to share with you guys a piece of our hearts, a piece of our stories, what makes us us. Yeah. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. We are looking forward to talking to you guys again. So come back next week for more. Bye.